Hello, so this next part is about breaking up the connections we don't want because we already had some exercises about connecting consciously and becoming aware of the connections we have. And now we want to do the opposite. We want to consciously just break the connection we don't want to feel. Because you might not be aware of it, that you are doing it in everyday life. There might be like a lot of connections that you do not feel. And I think I've said it in a different exercise already, that you can also even feel if something is in the room with you, like a being, and it can be that you feel better, that you feel peace and very comfy, and that's a being of light that you might be feeling. And it can also be like a darker being that you are feeling, and suddenly it's like your head gets like dropped, like as if the energy is compressing, and you might have some pain or something like poking you somewhere, weird ache. And it might also be on the emotional level, so you might have like feelings of love and peace and happiness coming, or on the other side like anger and self-worry and doubt, and can even be mental, like this receiving different information and thoughts coming up. And some of those things you might want to separate yourself from, especially those from the darker side. And how you do that? I have this exercise, the energy protection exercise, where there is like a longer guided practice about it, and you can use that to practice. But it's more about like practicing like a very strong bubble of safety around yourself. And there are also some other methods you can use, but that one I recommend just practicing and then doing it shorter or longer periods of time. And the other things that you might want to use, like especially when it's just like little things, like plants or objects you have connected to, or clients or people where you feel like, okay, there is nothing going on in my system with it, I don't feel like I need to be connected to this plant. So you can just, like, okay, this is you, this is me again, let's take our own space. And this motion, might help, like very much stepping away. And this is like, okay, from the middle we are coming back towards ourselves. And you can also do it on the other place. Like if you feel like you need separation, you can do this. And if you feel like you need more space of your own, you can do it the other way. So you're gonna be like, okay, this is the place I wanna be in, and you are there. So let's meet in the middle. And you also don't wanna do this like so, because especially with people, it can be that they suddenly feel the energy body like moving. They can notice that. It might not be something that they are consciously aware of, but they could be like that they take a step to the side and suddenly fall or something like that. Like those things happen. Okay? So you're gonna be like, okay, let's meet in the middle. My energy, your energy, let's just, separate here in the middle. Okay. So you can use those two things, and you can do it by breathing, like. And there are also other things. There might be connections to your system that you might not be aware of, that you need in some way, because they're not only like those easy and light in the sense of like a feather, like those very easy kind of connections that you have, but there might also be things that are there because you still have like a trigger or memory or something stored in your system that you cannot let go. especially with those darker beings, they tend to come in and really enjoy feeding off that place. Like if you have some hard topics, they might be like, okay, let's come and get this energy and make the person aware of it, because they are there to make you aware. And this you might not want to feel, especially when it's like suddenly I feel it and no one is there to trigger me, so maybe it's another being. And then you can be, okay, let's practice the energy protection bubble with the exercise, and just be in my own space with safety and love and not feel the thing. But it can also be the other side. You can focus on yourself and go, okay, what is it that's triggering me? Just going deep into your own emotions and the state you are in, into that what is being triggered, into the shame, guilt, anger, pain, whatever, memory, just really working through that. Because the only way you're going to be able to disconnect through that fully and consciously and also for a longer period of time is by really working through that topic that you might have. It's not going to work if you just keep on doing the protection bubble. It's just not going to do it. It might work, but the topic in you will still be there. So you really want to work through your own stuff to really become neutral. Because then if you become neutral to all those things, then the thing might still come in and then it will trigger something else. So you can work through a different topic. Or it will come and then you are going to be naturally there accepting it and without feeling that in your body. And you are also going to be able to work so much better with people, especially if you're like an energy worker, body worker. If you have processed your own things, it's just going to become a different experience because you're not involved anymore. Okay, and there are also other connections, like connections to family members or people in your life that you might want to have or might not want to have. And there's like this whole practice about breaking cords, like consciously breaking and cutting. Cord cutting is also called all the different connections you have to different places and people. And those things, it's usually about integrating the experiences you might have had with them, especially like with friends that you still hold some connection to energetically. It might be that you're not able to let go because there is still something in you that wants to hold on. So it could be that you haven't worked through some kind of experience with them and haven't transformed that, or if you feel like you miss them, or if you're guilty of something or feel guilty of something, all those kind of things might still be holding that being or that person to your system. So I think we're just going to do a practice about becoming aware of those different connections and cutting the cords only if they are ready to go, because some of them are not. You cannot forcefully cut something if it's like this big thing you are not able to let go. You can't imagine doing it, and then you might suddenly feel, oh my god, something is missing, what am I going to do? And then you have to work through stuff. Okay, and then the other thing I also wanted to tell you about is about connections that you might have to parts of yourself that you're not aware of, because there is this thing when you go through like traumas and many different experiences where you like put away a part of yourself and keep it in like a space where you're not aware of that. And that might be like inner child parts with like a lot of anger or depression or sadness stored in them. And usually we have some, like it's not like one experiences that we have had and there is like this one inner child that we need to integrate. Usually it can be this one inner child, but this child has this experience and that part and that part and that. So it's all about all those different parts in your system that you want to integrate again. So especially when doing this cord cutting and becoming aware of all the different energies you still have and the different connections, like be aware what is my connection to myself and a part that I haven't seen or that I don't want to see, and what is to someone else, what is to God, what is to earth, what are the different connections I have. So yeah, thank you, and let's do the exercise when we become aware of the different connections we have.